again here on the Final Score and Facebook Live. We appreciate you tuning in, and we certainly appreciate the patience of our guests, George Stoltz, Coach Dave Lillard, and Heron Nataraja, members of the state champion Oakdale Boys Track and Field team, won their first outdoor team championship over the weekend at Morgan State. They were the 2015 indoor team champions. Coach, how would you compare the two, if they're comparable?
This one is the big one. Outdoor is always the big one to win because there's so many components that are involved with that. Indoor, you got less events. You know, if you got a couple of big dogs, then you can really do well in the indoor. It takes more than a couple of big dogs to do well in the outdoor. You need to do well in many places and have some guys that are willing to step up and grab the small points as well.
Yeah, do well in many places. I mean, that's how you guys won this championship. You didn't win it on the strength of your first places. You won it on the strength of your depth. I mean, tell us how this team sort of is built and sort of succeeds.
Definitely. We scored in quite a few places overall. We qualified in all events but one, and that's basically how you win. And then you try to grab as many points as possible, and hope for the best. That's basically what it boils down to.
The thing you mentioned to me a couple times over the weekend is you have to build from the top and you have to build from the bottom.
Yeah, you got to eat points from the top, and we had a few guys that could do that. And you know, George won the triple jump, Heron won the 300-meter hurdles, and then your bottom feeders are the ones that really make the meet too, because without them, you just can't win an outdoor state championship. You need the 1 point, you need the 2 points, you need the 3, 4, 5. With that, they add up, and you come out victorious if you can just kind of eat from the top and the bottom.
So many talented athletes, state place winners graduated from your team last year. I mean, this was allegedly a rebuilding year for you guys. But yet you kept the goal to win the championship. I mean, what made this group so ambitious? What made it so confident that it was able to do it?
Guys like this right here that say we're not rebuilding, we are moving on. And you know, when you got guys that are willing to say this is not a rebuilding year for us, coach, it might be for you, but for us it's not. And they dove right in. They decided early on that they were going to win this. They were going to win a state championship, and they were going to do what it took to do it, to be able to do that. And they did a great job.
The team had 5 goals, you said, at the start of the season. Yep. What were they?
First goal was to win the Tri-County Cup, and the second goal was to win the conference. Third goal was counties. Fourth goal was regions, and the big prize down the road, which is the 5th goal, which is win states.
Got them all.
Got them all. Got them all. We marked them off as we literally said 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5. We're kind of marking off, or you know, even as Coach Beach would say, we're not done yet. As we were kind of marking them off, we're not done yet.
What do you appreciate the most about these guys?
Their attitude. They have a great attitude. They're positive. They teach me a lot, because sometimes, you know, as a coach, you kind of you get so bogged down in what you're doing that you forget that it should also be fun, and you got to have a great attitude while you're doing it. And they really taught me that. It's just so fresh when you see that and you see it in their eyes. It's really nice.
George, you won the triple jump. You previously, your state titles came in the pole vault, but you branched off into some different events and had great success in recent years. But what did that team championship, getting that in your senior season, walking the trophy around the track or jogging the trophy around the track, what did that mean to you?
I mean, it meant a lot. I started off my high school track career with the state championship my freshman year. Like you said, we won the indoor title, my first ever season of track. And
you're like, this is how it's going to be all the time, right?
I mean, didn't expect it, but I mean, I was like, wow, this is awesome. Let's try to do that as much as we can. So I mean, we were chasing the outdoor title. We should have won the outdoor title that year, but I mean, a lot of unfortunate circumstances happened, and we didn't. So I always kind of left that driving me, that I wanted that outdoor championship. And I mean, to get it in my senior year, is really special. So.
And Heron, you said that you were inspired by a lot of the great Oakdale athletes of the past. So to continue that legacy, I mean, what did that mean to you?
Well, it just felt really great because ever since I was a freshman and a sophomore, I worked out with all the seniors. I was around them all the time, like maybe even more than my own class, and I looked up to them a lot, and being able to accomplish something that I know they really wanted, and like just being in their position is just a really great experience.
So you win the 300 hurdles, but we weren't sure you were going to win until the very end of the race. How were you able to surge into the lead there right at the final hurdle there?
Well, going into the race, I was kind of I would know how to run the race, but I just wanted a strategy that would help me win. And I was talking to my coach, Coach Beach, and he just told me that I run my best race when I stay relaxed. And in the last 100 of the 300 hurdles, I was thinking about pushing it a little harder and maybe just trying to pass that guy. But then I remembered what Coach Beach said, and I just stayed relaxed. And I could tell the kid was getting tired, and my training was better than his, and I wasn't getting as tired. And then the rest is history.
Yeah, and when you crossed first, I mean, what was the first thought that went through your head?
At the beginning of the race, that's what I had in my head. So it wasn't really a surprise for me. I was just really happy I finally broke 40, and I was just happy to get a win.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of a magical number, that 40-second barrier. And when you get below it, it's got to be a real rush of adrenaline in its own right. So.
Yeah, I was chasing it the whole season too, so it's nice to have it on the last race.
Also ran for a couple relays that placed at the state meet. And you also entered the 110 hurdles, a race where you weren't really a contender to win, but you placed. You picked up 2 valuable points, and Coach Lillard was saying over the weekend that those 2 points, I mean, that's sort of how you have to build a championship team, making those small sacrifices. So why were you so willing to run that race?
Well, I think it's just about the team, and I never really think about the events just for me. Like, my first thought when I won the 300 hurdles, it wasn't like, oh, I finally did this for myself. I just thought, like, yes, I just got 10 points for our team to win the state championship. I didn't really care that it would, like, it's really nice to say that I'm an individual state champion, but I'd much rather have it that the team won. And the one, like, just running in the 110 just helps towards the team goal.
And George, you've been chasing that triple jump gold medal for several years now. So to finally get it, I mean, how satisfying was that for you?
Very satisfying. Even though it wasn't my best performance numbers-wise, I mean, I just thought it really, just kind of, the way that it happened was really exciting. And I mean, it meant a lot when I won by 1/4 inch. I mean, I just squeezed it out on my last jump, gave it everything I had. And at that point, I had second place secured. And so when I was on the runway getting ready for my last attempt, I was like, I'm just going to give this my all. I mean, it's my last high school jump. And it came out, and then I ended up winning. And so it was really, really nice.
You also placed third in the long jump, and you were third in the 800 relay too. So another great overall meet for you. When people watch you, they tend to notice your socks. I mean, I asked you about it over the weekend. Tell us about your footwear that you typically have during meets.
Yeah, so my socks started off as a shoe fetish. I mean, I loved shoes back in middle school, and I collected them. I had like 10 individual pairs, and then it started to get a little pricey. The shoes got more expensive. My parents were tired of buying them. I didn't really have any way to make money for myself, so I ended up selling all of them. But I still like to express myself with my feet, so I picked up sock collecting. I mean, I just started buying pairs. Like, oh, those are cool socks, and then I just got more and more pairs.
Like, what would you define as cool socks?
I mean, it's subjective. It's anything that kind of catches the eye, and you're like, I mean, I just think if you can notice a pair of socks on someone's outfit, then they're probably pretty cool socks. Because I mean, socks usually fly under the radar.
Do you use it for competitive advantage? Did you try and throw your fellow competitors off, because they're distracted by your socks, or?
No.
Yeah.
It's just I like socks, and it's one way to express myself on the track. I mean, they're pretty strict about the uniform rules, but not about socks. So.
Okay. And pretty smart guy, too. Are going to MIT next year to run track and play football, right? You got to be excited about that.
I'm very excited, yep.
Yeah. And what are you going to study at MIT?
I'm thinking material science.
Right.
Yeah.
And so are you going to be able to handle the academic work and the athletic side of it?
Yeah, I mean, I've done that all my high school career. And, I mean, up there it's obviously academics first, and they structure it so that it's possible. I mean, there's people that do it. I've talked to people that have done 2 sports there, so I mean, I'm not worried about it.
Is George the smartest guy on the team, Coach Lillard?
Well, Heron's pretty smart too.
Right.
I don't know.
Give it to George.
I think we got a lot of smart guys on the team. So,
Right. That's what makes them successful, right?
Yeah,
So-
definitely. Yeah.
And Heron, you have another year to come back
I
and,
do.
and try and do this again.
Yep.
Now, what are some of the other events you run, because they seem to lend to your distance training and stuff like that for a tough race like the 300 hurdles?
So, I mean, I guess there's a lot of events I can run, but during this season, I mostly ran the 110, and then I doubled the 400, open 400 and the 300-meter hurdles, and then the 4x4 at the end. But I think we have a lot of plans for next season to, like, expand my events.
Where do you find the energy to run all those long races?
Honestly, just work. Like, I know I'm prepared for it from the workouts that I get earlier in the season, and it's just basically taking care of my body. And ice baths help a lot. I drink pickle juice. That's one of my
Pickle
keys.
juice. How does that help?
I don't know the science behind it, but I definitely feel that it helps. I don't cramp as much when I drink pickle juice. I don't get as sore. It's basically about taking care of your body and making sure I get enough sleep, everything like that. It all contributes to me being able to run like 4 events.
He is a pretty smart guy, Coach. Yeah, you're right about that. So, how does the team look next year? I mean, what will you guys bring back?
Well, losing George is going to be a big deal. I mean, we talked about how we're going to fill that gap, and we got a couple of jumpers, triple jumpers, and long jumpers that might be able to fill his shoes. We've got sophomores that are going to be 1 year older, and you get a sophomore who got third at the states running 156, and a sophomore going, sub 10, 950 in the 2 mile, and they're just going to get older and stronger. 1 year is a big deal for a guy and on a track team. That 10th and 11th grade year is a big building year. So you see some big surges in times, and we're hoping that that's going to fill some things. We've got a couple of sophomores who are wanting to do very well in the 800, who are looking at becoming upcoming and kind of jumping into events. We got some seniors, upcoming seniors that are just going to be more experienced, stronger overall, and being great leaders. And you win a state championship by not only being good at your events, but also being good leading. Leading your team to where you got to go. So we're gonna hold our own. I think we're very possible to repeat. As any state champion would tell you, any state championship team, you got to have some luck, and you've got to have some bad luck for other teams, and you've got to work hard too. You just can't rely on the luck, and I think we're going to be able to do that.
You guys always have such great middle distance runners. I mean, you excel in those 800s, those long hurdle races and stuff like that. And we talk about how do you build a state champion track team, but how do you build a track team? Period. And you build it around those events, right?
Those are the 4 and the 8s. It's what we build our team around, the 4 and the 8s, and if you're able to do that, then you're able to diversify down or diversify up, and with that, you also need power and strength. If you're going to build your team on the 4 and the 8s, that gives you power and strength, so you can do well on the jumps as well. Our technical guys like pole vault, I mean, they're not training for 4s or 8s. They're training on strictly the pole vault, and of course the shot putters are training their events as well, and the discus guys. But the bulk of the team are 4 guys or 8 guys, and then we go up or down.
Does everyone have to run those 2 events?
It's funny because even the shot putters, when we have a dual meet, everyone runs a 4x4. Even the shot putters, even the throwers. It becomes a tradition, and I always call it we take over the track. We take over the track with our middle distance.
Right. And George, what did you think about those 4 and 8s when you were running them?
I was lucky enough that I was always in 4 events, so I never had to run them.
Okay. You were good enough at the jumping events, the vaults, the triple jump, the long jump, but you run those relays. I mean, you're running 800s for the relays.
Well, the longest I ever ran was the 4x2. I mean, I just always had a bunch of events, whether it was high jump, pole vault, long triple, or even 100, 200. I never had enough time to run the 4x4.
So you are smart. You were smart enough to avoid those tough.
He trains for the 400 though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And Heron, you've obviously run them a lot just because your events are sort of geared like them. So how did you feel about those races when you first started running them?
Honestly, I can't remember not running them. Maybe when I was a freshman, it definitely hurt. But the thing about the 400 is you kind of have to get into your own rhythm with it. And once you find the rhythm, like I'm not gonna say it gets easy, but it's not hard. You just get into your rhythm and then cruise, basically. So once I found that, I think it got a lot easier for me.
And what's the tougher race to run? The 400, which is a sprint around the track, or the 300 hurdles, which is a long way too, but you're jumping over hurdles along the way. So
I'd definitely say the 300 is harder, just because the hurdles in between make it feel a lot longer, and also you kind of have to get into the same rhythm as the 400, but it's imperative that you're in the rhythm because you have to hit your steps for the hurdles, and like the slightest thing can mess you up. With the 400 you can kind of compensate if you like slow down a little bit or make a mistake, but with the 300 hurdles, like one little mistake can mess up your entire time. So
what are you looking forward to the most about next season?
I'm just setting a lot of goals for myself. I'm just looking forward to winning 2 more state championships and seeing the team grow.
Coach, next season, and I know you're already probably thinking about it a little bit.
Yeah. We're kind of moving chess pieces around and seeing what to do. It's, do the best we can, set those goals, and hoping for the best. And I think we're very strong. We have a lot of young guys that are just ready to break out, and we got a lot of Herons on the team that are just ready to have a breakout junior year. So,
George, what will you remember or appreciate the most about these 4 years?
I mean, outside of just the winning was nice, but I mean, the one thing that I'll take away that I'll never forget is the friends that I made, and just the team attitude was something that was really special. I mean, you don't find that in a lot of places. I think, especially Oakdale, we have a really strong, a tight team, and I really appreciated that. So,
George Stoltz, Coach Dave Lillard, Heron Nataraja, thanks for being here, guys. Wish you continued success.
Thank you
for having us.
thank you.
And that will do it here for us here on The Final Score and on Facebook Live. My thanks to producer Graham Cullen, Chris Sands, Colin McGuire and his band Double Motorcycle for the music you hear on the podcast. I'm Greg Swatek of the Frederick News Post Sports Department, and we'll see you next time here. You think?
Man, you have like an hour and a half of these to do.